Thousands of entry-level analysts fight their way up the Goldman Sachs corporate hierarchy. You spend 2 decades surviving the associate and managing director tiers to secure a partnership and split the firm's profits. Goldman Sachs processed 300,000 applications this year and hired 2,500 people. You joined that group. The brutal rejection rate exposes the demanding corporate machine you entered. That statistic hides the personal toll you will pay. The bank advised on 313 mergers worth $713 billion in 2024. The firm omits your name from deal documents. You build every number inside those transactions. You walk a career path defined by the divide between public credit and daily contribution. The firm operates 7 hierarchy levels. Every rank demands a unique sacrifice. Management hides the toll until you experience it. You begin at level 1 as a summer analyst. You are a 20-year-old college junior. You passed a higher view screen, 2 interview rounds, and a 40-minute partner call that dragged on for an hour and a half. The bank accepted fewer than 1% of applicants to this program. You secured a spot among those 2,500 candidates. You work at 200 West Street inside a 43-story glass tower. You sit alongside 79 other summer analysts holding identical GPAs and matching leadership titles. These peers share your exact valuation of the upcoming internship. You all calculated the financial upside correctly. You will spend the summer attempting to outperform these identical peers while managers make standing out difficult. The bank pays an annualized salary of $110,000. You earn a gross paycheck near $21,000 for the 10-week summer. Federal and New York state taxes reduce your take-home pay to roughly $12,500. Investment banking analysts work 80 to 90 hours every week. You calculate your schedule at 90 hours per week and discover an hourly wage you keep secret from friends. You spend your days on pitchbook assembly and financial model support. You construct document sections for a senior analyst to review. You update comparable company tables and verify every data point against original sources. At 1:45 in the morning, you spot an 11:30 comment from an associate questioning your revenue assumptions. The associate asks why your numbers sit 150 basis points above the comparable set. You type a response. You sleep at 3:00 and return at 7:00. The bank extends return job offers to 80% of the intern class. Management waits until week 10 to reveal your placement inside that winning group. Leadership designs this deliberate ambiguity to drive performance. You let the unknown outcome dictate your schedule for the summer. Recruiters send the official offer and end your summer uncertainty. You step into the analyst role at age 22 with a base salary of $110,000. Executives operate investment banking analysts on a stub-year cycle before switching to the standard calendar schedule. The payroll department delays your first bonus check to the 12-month mark. Top performers in their first year collect between $70,000 and $80,000 in that initial bonus payout. Management determines your total first-year compensation of $150,000 to $190,000 based on your performance ranking. Partners keep your exact performance tier a secret. You calculate your exact standing by opening the bonus envelope and counting the cash. You spend your days building financial models and drafting pitchbooks. Bankers use a pitchbook as a formal proposal to convince a corporate client to hire Goldman Sachs for a specific transaction. You assemble these documents from existing templates and audit every single data point. You cross-reference every figure printed on the slides against the corresponding cell in your spreadsheet. An associate texts you at 2 in the morning about an outdated logo on the title slide. You open the master file, locate the correct image for the target company, reconstruct the layout, generate a new PDF, and email the document. Corporate leadership introduced a weekend protection policy prohibiting work assignments from 9 Friday evening until 9 Sunday morning. Your specific team enforces this mandate with zero consistency. You memorize the managing directors who honor the time off and the ones who text you at 10:30 Saturday night with routine requests. You finalize your first major transaction at the 15-month mark. The deal team executes a $580 million acquisition of a regional packaging business. Colleagues print your name on page 41 of the final presentation deck. You feel a distinct sense of validation after spotting your name in the document. Associates include you in a completed transaction after a full year of practice. A senior manager miscalculates the headcount in the conference room and mentions your upcoming associate promotion at the 22-month mark. The executive lets the details slip. The bank reserves direct communication for firing people or delivering bad news. You reach the associate rank at age 26 after finishing 2 years at Wharton. That degree leaves you carrying $220,000 in student debt. Your starting base salary as a Goldman Sachs investment banking associate sits at $175,000. A strong first-year bonus pushes your total compensation into a range between $275,000 and $320,000. Paying your $2,600 monthly loan bill registers as a minor line item on your budget spreadsheet. The financial model ignores a heavier cost. A distinct dread builds every Sunday at 4 in the afternoon. Your chest tightens the moment you remember Monday morning is coming. You felt this same dread as an analyst and expected a promotion to cure it. The promotion gave the dread a formal title. Your daily tasks shift from building pitch decks to managing the analysts building them. Two junior analysts generate the raw materials for your projects. You review their slides and fix mistakes before the vice president sees the work. You act as the final quality checkpoint before the deliverables reach senior leadership. You find yourself messaging analysts at midnight to fix a logo alignment. You catch your own voice adopting the precise demanding tone your bosses used on you. Leading your first transaction involves a $1.4 billion leveraged buyout. A private equity group is purchasing a specialty chemical manufacturer. You direct the due diligence process across 6 separate work streams. The entire transaction takes 4 months from the initial mandate to the final closing. You experience minimal deep sleep during those 16 weeks. Your brain maintains a constant state of high alert because you carry the ultimate responsibility for every detail. Recruiters begin reaching out with exit opportunities. An executive search firm sends you an email about a corporate development vice president role at a Fortune 500 company. The position pays $350,000 in total compensation and offers genuine stock options alongside guaranteed weekends. You read the message 2 times and delete it. You promise yourself to stick around for 2 more years. 90% of your peers repeat that same promise. A managing director invites you to an unscheduled deal debrief meeting. He drops a casual comment at the end about a specific client you need to manage as the primary contact in the future. He offers 0 extra details. You spend the next 7 days analyzing the hidden expectations behind that comment and calculating the professional damage of a misstep. You hit the vice president level at 30 years old and take full ownership of entire transactions. A strong market pushes your total annual compensation to $600,000 on top of a $250,000 base salary. Your parents lack any real context for that kind of income. You take them to a high-end restaurant featuring a menu devoid of prices. Your dad glances at the selections and orders his meal without a single question about the cost. Their frugal mindset remains unchanged despite the luxurious surroundings. Your primary duties involve executing transactions and retaining existing accounts. Managing directors bring in the initial business while you maintain the client connection between active deals. You direct a team comprising 2 associates and 4 analysts. You know the specific analyst who willingly works until 4 in the morning and the one whose work quality drops after 2 a.m. You assign tasks based on those individual endurance levels. People label this process management. The work consists of applying behavioral pattern recognition to your staff. You host your first independent client dinner with the chief financial officer of a target company Goldman Sachs wants to secure as an advisory client. The conversation covers industry trends and broader economic conditions. You avoid mentioning the formal sales pitch. You understand that the firm secures new business by making the partnership feel like the logical choice long before anyone opens a presentation deck. Goldman Sachs wins the lead advisor role on a $2.3 billion acquisition 4 months later. Your dinner conversation laid the groundwork for that specific victory. The official deal announcement ignores your contribution. The managing director secures his name on the commemorative tombstone. You built the personal relationship that secured the deal. 8 years have passed since you started in investment banking. 9 years of flawless execution define your career. The barrier separating you from the executive director level centers on interpersonal dynamics. Generating revenue demands strong personal connections. Building those connections demands the free hours you currently dedicate exclusively to executing other people's deals. The partnership committee wants to know if you possess the remaining energy to originate your own business. Goldman reserves the Level 5 Executive Director title for their own firm to test that exact origination capacity. Rival bulge bracket banks hand out Senior Vice President or Director badges. The partners rely on this specific nomenclature to build a hard structural barrier. You use this role as the absolute final checkpoint before you reach Managing Director. You proved your ability to execute massive deals. The firm tests your capacity to bring in massive deals. The partners watch to see if chief executives dial your phone or endure your presence in meetings. Most professionals hitting this milestone sit at 34 years old. The compensation committee awards you a total compensation package ranging between $750,000 and $1.1 million during a strong market year. Managing this new wealth requires a meeting with a financial advisor to structure your holdings. You hold an exclusive client relationship. You focus on a mid-cap industrials business generating $3.1 billion in annual revenue through heavy machinery manufacturing. Their board has argued over a specific European acquisition strategy for 16 straight months. You spent 2 full years cultivating this connection. You executed consistent quarterly check-ins and secured a strategic Davos breakfast placement next to their chief financial officer at the Belvedere Hotel. Your team drafted a detailed 20-page white paper covering sector consolidation patterns. You mailed that exact document to the CFO a fortnight after he brought up the subject. You secure a $1.8 billion take-private mandate backed by a private equity sponsor. The partners list you as the lead banker. The firm prints the senior partner's name on the front cover. The firm enforces strict institutional logic. The client pays the broader institution. You remain an apprentice learning the partner trade. The partnership committee schedules your formal managing director evaluation 14 months from today during the annual winter review cycle. You discover this timeline by eavesdropping on a private conversation. A senior colleague mentions the date in a crowded glass-walled conference room. The speaker forgets your presence in the corner while reviewing the promotion roster. You reach level 6 as a managing director. You secure your first major mandate as the lead managing director. You structure a $3.6 billion merger combining 2 pharmaceutical distribution companies. You sit across from a chief executive officer evaluating pitches from 4 rival banks. This executive selects Goldman Sachs based on personal trust in you rather than the firm's reputation. Both you and the firm recognize this personal leverage. Everyone keeps that mutual understanding silent. You reach the age of 38. You collect $1.4 million in pay this. You earned $1.1 million last year. You link this difference to closed deals. You internalize these fluctuations. You fail to maintain a relationship when you lose a mandate. You spent years eating countless dinners to build this connection. You cannot remember the specific meals. The firm prints your name on the tombstone. The firm gives zero document credit to the analysts who built the financial model. You remember working as that junior analyst. You write a thank you message to the team. You spend 7 minutes drafting the text. You mimic a strict term sheet. You manage 14 client relationships. You collect $2.2 million in fees from your smallest account. You collect $12 million from your largest one. You stop functioning as a regular Goldman Sachs employee. You accept this reality in your mind. You exist as a pure revenue generator occupying a desk with a direct phone. Your son performs the lead role in his school play on Wednesday. You watch the video recording during a flight to Zurich. Your wife sends the video file without a text caption. You understand the exact meaning behind that silence. The partnership committee meets in 4 months. Goldman Sachs elects new partners twice a year. You hold the managing director title for 4 years. The firm lists you as an eligible candidate on the schedule. The firm made the same promise to previous candidates and broke it. You reach level 7 and claim the title of partner. The bank promoted 95 new partners in 2024, marking the biggest cohort since 2016. You join this exclusive group at age 43. Fewer than 500 people hold this rank across a global workforce of 45,000. You belong to the 40% who started as campus analysts. Securing this spot required 21 years of continuous effort. Your compensation now depends on your division's results and the overall profits of the bank. You took home $4.8 million last year, following a $3.3 million payout the previous year. This pay fluctuation creates severe stress. Your personal wealth rises and falls with the firm, turning every financial dip into a personal loss. You sit on internal committees and approve deals that other teams created. You mentor managing directors who remind you of yourself at age 38. These junior bankers project precision and hunger, masking a slight opacity behind their eyes that they fail to recognize. You secured all the goals the 22-year-old version of yourself wanted. You hold the title, the high compensation number, and the seat in the room where executives make final decisions. You also face severe personal consequences. A judge finalized your divorce on a Thursday while you sat trapped on an inescapable board call. Your daughter texts you 3 or 4 sentences on holidays before returning to silence. Your doctor now uses the word chronic to describe health issues she once labeled situational. The modern partnership functions differently from the pre-1999 model. Bankers avoid discussing this structural shift while running comps at 2 in the morning. Partners owned actual equity before the initial public offering. That stake compounded alongside the institution's success and exposed them to financial losses. The bank became a public company after 1999. The partnership title remained, but the equity moved to the public market. The subsequent market actions form the missing piece of the seven-level hierarchy. Institutional investors own 72% of the Goldman Sachs Group. The three largest shareholders are Vanguard Group with 9.6% of outstanding shares, BlackRock with 7.6%, and State Street Global Advisors with 6.4%. These three entities control more stock than the entire active partnership class combined. The institutional investors skipped pitch book reviews, ignored midnight messages, and attended all school plays. They allocated capital to funds, indexes, and positions that included the bank among hundreds of other holdings. Their analysts modeled the bank as a single line item in a broader portfolio. Portfolio managers traded the stock in and out quarter by quarter without closing a deal, attending a client dinner, or spending a year inside the firm. These outside institutions accumulated more ownership than any individual banker in history achieved. You climbed all 7 levels and claimed the partner title. You wield all the authority that phrase carries inside a 43rd floor conference room. The actual largest owner of the firm you represent runs operations from Malvern, Pennsylvania. This company manages passive index funds for retail investors who lack knowledge of financial tombstones. The primary owner does not know the client's name, does not know the specific deal, and shows complete indifference toward the outcome of the 4-month merger you closed last quarter. The firm's architects built the corporate machine for those outside investors, and not for you. You traded 21 years for the most demanding and consequential career in global finance. The firm lacks the mechanisms to answer whether you understood that specific trade. Some analysts accepted the exit offer and landed jobs at BlackRock. That specific firm owns 7.6% of the bank. The firm they left remains partially owned by the new firm they joined.